Hello and welcome on to the Game 2 2018 Finals Breakdown, the ISO Ball podcast with your host, Derek Terrio. Today, Nick Raponi is back to help us do our post-game breakdown, and I do apologize. The weather had caused some technical difficulties and wasn't able to get out the episode live last night, but here we are on for the Game 2 breakdown. Nick, welcome back.
Happy to be here as always, Derek.
Yes, excellent. It's good to see. So, a less competitive game than Game 1, unfortunately. 122-103 Warriors win. Steph Curry led the way, again, the best player for the Warriors for the second game in a row. 33 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, and a NBA Finals record, 9 3-pointers. And Nick, I think he was just absolutely excellent, again, like I said, for the second game in a row.
Yeah, I think you had a tweet, actually. It said, at this point, I think Curry's locked in the Finals MVP.
Oh, I think so.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this guy he set the Finals record with the playoff, or the Finals 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just absolutely unbelievable. He actually made as many threes as the Cavs did for the entire game. If you can believe that, just by himself, that's quite the stat. So again, tough for the Cavs. I mean, it's hard to make any more descriptions other than they're being completely outmatched here. While they do have a semi-good strategy in adopting the Warriors switching scheme, it seems that the Rockets switching scheme, it seems the Warriors are finding out some creases to that scheme, and I think one of the big ones is the Curry relocation threes that we saw 3 or 4 of in this game.
For sure, yeah. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
It's a combination of good play call, Steve Kerr, bad defense from Cleveland, but more than anything, the execution.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't know what we're talking about, it's when Curry's coming down, usually cutting towards the basket, and then
he'll pass it
it out, usually to the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Then he'll go, as he's still jogging, he'll cut to the 3-point line.
Exactly.
And then, so it's basically the decision on the switch.
Exactly.
Do I stick with the guy who has the ball, or do I go cover Curry? And either way, with Golden State shooting, you're kind of screwed either way you go.
Exactly, and a lot of the time it was Draymond that was actually making the rotation pass to Curry, and Jordan Bell did another one of those between the legs ones, I think he missed that one specifically, but that's the type of actions we're talking about. And when you have Kevin Love, because that's obviously something that the Cavs are doing, the Warriors are doing, is getting Kevin Love in the pick and roll action and making sure that Steph is guarding him on the perimeter. And when Steph blows by his guy and kicks it off, if you're Kevin Love, you think for a second, oh, thank God, he doesn't have the ball in his hands, I can relax. Yeah. That split second is when the hammer action comes. Is when the relocation comes, and if your communication is not on point, you're going to lose in that scenario. And we saw that a bunch of times in this game.
And that's exactly it. When it comes down to it, Golden State is going to get Kevin Love in the action every single time because they know, I'd say 60 to 70% of the time, they are going to succeed.
Totally. Absolutely.
Like, realistically, 60 to 70% of the time, I think they're going to succeed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not a bad percentage number there, just because of the mismatches and how and this discrepancy between how bad some of these defensive players are and how good some of the Warriors offensive players are.
Exactly.
It's just as simple as that. So, and we'll talk about J.R. Smith, Jordan Clarkson in a bit. Don't worry.
I just couldn't believe the MVP chance.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Golden State. Another thing. I saw another tweet. I forget who it was from, saying the Golden State fan base has done about 3 good things in the last 10 years. That was one of them. That was one of them. That was funny.
That is pretty funny. Okay, let's go down quarter by quarter. Now, we don't want to break it down every possession, but just some of the key things from each quarter, maybe just to take away here. So, for starters, Golden State went with JaVale McGee in the lineup. I think we saw last game that there was a big rebound discrepancy. I don't think the Warriors had a single offensive rebound at the half. Yeah. And then they brought in JaVale McGee for the first 6 minutes, and he brought a great impact on the defensive end and on the glass as well. So they went with him to start, and the first possession of the game I saw right away is JaVale slipped a screen. I don't know who was guarding. I think it was Kevin Love, and he got a dunk right away. And it was right away where it was like, okay, the Warriors have a plan, and the Cavs don't seem to be ready for what's coming.
Exactly, yeah. No, JaVale actually came in and he had an impact. I know they're getting him involved, but
definitely,
my hat's off to JaVale. He played very, very well.
Very, very solid. And a lot of what he had were dunks, but hey, you know what? If he's getting in the right position, well. Exactly. Traditional, or not traditional, but opportune duck-ins, being able to be in the right spot at the right time, there's something to be said for that. Exactly. I don't care what anyone says. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so again, the first 5 or 6 buckets for Golden State were easy easy peasy buckets. I mean, these were, Curry beats Kevin Love going left for a layup, or Kevin Durant easy bounce pass inside to McGee for a dunk, or KD gets in transition for a dunk. All of them were so easy, and a testament to that is the fact that the Warriors were 9 for 9 in the restricted area in the first quarter.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
There was next to no rim protection.
No, none. None. And that was a problem, and we'll see why this actually probably was a big reason why it costed the game. The fact that they didn't come out with that energy that they did in the first. I mean, we'll see that the final score in the first quarter was only 32-28, but it felt like the Warriors outplayed the Cavs significantly.
Yeah, it felt like it was more of a 35-21 type score.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And there's just one thing I want to reference here. So Nate Duncan had a great tweet about 2 possessions where Kevin Love had gotten beat, and this just kind of, I think, speaks to the Cavaliers' defense, not just this series, but all year. So the one possession, there was Kevin Love on the left, above the break, above the three-point line, forcing Steph Curry to his left. And so Steph Curry's going left, and it looks like LeBron sitting there on the weak side and didn't, I guess, come up and force that help or force that extra pass. And Kevin Love put his hands up after Curry got the layup saying, okay, like, there's no help. Like, where's the help on that? So the next time down the floor, I think the Cavs got a miss. And then Kevin Love gets switched on to Klay Thompson, and knowing what he just saw against Steph Curry, he plays a more kind of upfront in your face defense where I'm going to shut off the drive, where I'm not forcing you to help, I'm keeping you in front of me, and conservative defense. And he played that, backed up too much off him, and Klay actually hit a 3 in his face. And so Nate Duncan on Twitter, and he had a tweet making a great point where that's why that second 3 was given up by Kevin Love, is because he couldn't trust the backside defense that we saw just fail him on the possession before. And like that lack of trust defensively, I think has been a problem for the Cavs all year. And we're seeing reminiscence of it in this series again.
Exactly. It's tough to stop that Golden State offense.
Sure.
At the same time, Cleveland's defense is not playing well. No. They're not playing well at all.
No.
And like you said, it has been their Achilles heel all season, the defense.
Exactly. And so that was a big part of this first quarter. A lot of the Cavs strategy, again, was putting Curry in the pick and roll, getting Curry onto LeBron, and he was finding a lot of the guys. I think he could have had like 16, 17, 18 assists, had a lot of those three-pointers gone down from Kevin Love. J.R. Smith went 2 of 9, just a lot of bad things. And I can't, and I think this is probably a second quarter thing, but I can't stand the Jordan Clarkson minutes. I just don't get them, especially with LeBron on the floor. You don't need shot creation. It looks like he's just out there like thinking like he's just some crazy ass ISO scorer, like in the mid range, that he's just going to take these awesome shots, and they're just absolute bricks. And I just don't. He provides no value out there to me. There's no value. There's no reason why Rodney Hood, a capable catch and shoot shooter, a guy who can attack a closeout, wouldn't be more suited in those minutes that Jordan Clarkson is giving up.
I completely agree. I don't understand. First, I don't understand. I know there's a bit of tension maybe between Rodney Hood and maybe Tyronn Lue. I don't know.
Maybe there's something.
I'm not going to say there's anything there because I don't even know. But it seems, I don't know. It seems like, why isn't he not getting minutes? I'd argue Rodney Hood's a good player. He could maybe be more effective than JR.
We saw flashes of him being really good in Utah. 17-point per game guy, left-handed shooter, a guy that really could, do some shot creation. There were some real positives from Rodney Hood, and it's just kind of crazy to see that it hasn't been there.
Exactly. I'm really surprised. I thought when they acquired him, he could be a big piece for them. And turns out, I still think he could. He's just not giving him the minutes.
You know what? And I think it's time for Ty Lue. You know what? You're down 2-0 now. You're going into Cleveland. You gotta get a spark. I don't care if you're playing Jose Calderon. It's already been shown that you can't play Jordan Clarkson, and it's just not good.
Jordan Clarkson
it's just not good.
Is essentially useless out there, especially with LeBron on the court. Like I said. Why is he out there?
Yes.
I completely agree with that.
And did I mention he makes $12.5 million a year next year?
Yeah, we can't blame Ty Lue or anybody for that, but
we'll blame the Lakers for that contract. So that was pretty much the end of the first quarter. Again, 32-28, and we kind of established that. I felt like even though the score was a little bit closer than it seems, the Warriors were outplaying the Cavs. Right. So moving on to the second quarter, this is to me where the Cavs were getting really just frustrated on offense, because the Warriors are really in their face, really playing good defense, and they only had 2 points on the first 6 possessions to start the second quarter, and by the time there was 3:13 left to go in the second quarter, they were 3 of 16 on field goals in that quarter for only 12 points. 12 points. And so that, to me, was what was causing a lot of the Warriors to take those misses and be able to play at their own pace. They were taking those to a couple turnovers, a couple of these bad misses, and getting them out in transition. And And whether it be those transition offense that they were pushing, and I also want to touch on KD very quickly. KD was doing a great job of being efficient in this game. I thought a lot of I talked about it on the last pregame breakdown where 80% of your post-up is done before you catch the ball. Yeah, he was doing a lot more of that in this game. Catching the ball really deep on the block, really where even if George Hill's playing good defense, it doesn't matter when he's shooting from 12 feet. You know what I mean?
KD is just Mr. Efficient. That's all. The guy is so efficient game in. And it seems like every time I'm looking up at the box scores, hey, after halfway through the second quarter, the guy, hey, 5 of 5, 13 points. Like the guy's, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's uber efficient, and it was good to see he's getting back to getting more consistent looks. Again, couple dunks, couple easy post ups. He got an open 3 off a rebound, so that was really well. There was a point actually where the Cavs were doing some good things. George Hill specifically on defense and offense was really good in this game. I found he made his open 3s, and though he got switched on to KD a lot, I can't really blame George Hill for bad Cavs strategy, because if you're putting George Hill on a KD, that's a bucket, 9 times out of 10. Realistically, you could see it if he's even bucket on Chris Paul 9 times out of 10. Yeah. And even though George Hill maybe has 2 or 3 inches on him, that's the physicality was still there, and we could see that KD was really dominating that matchup with the smaller guards.
He's just going to shoot over.
Yeah, he's going to shoot.
Each and every time he is going to shoot over.
Exactly.
He'll back you in a little, but then he will shoot over.
Yes, exactly. And as long as he gets that post position, it's almost guaranteed a bucket. Again, I mentioned the Warriors really started pushing Cavs misses in transition. Again, they had missed 13 shots in the quarter until 3:13 to go. And that was basically the Warriors' offense. I mean, there was a time, I think it was 46-35, and the Cavs had called a timeout, and they were just not scoring consistently enough with Golden State to keep this a game, at least in the first half. So the Cavs were able to cut it to 7, and then the Curry made a couple of 3s at the end of the quarter, and then went into halftime with the score 59-46, but the quarter score 27-18. So they outscored the Cavs 9 points in that quarter for a 13-point lead at the half. A couple things that struck me at halftime is the Cavs only had 5 fast break points and only 3 of 10 from downtown. Even if you get a couple more fast break points off some of those turnovers and be able to, hit a couple more of those open 3s, we're looking at a 3-point game instead of a 13. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? So there is a difference there. LeBron, a very sneaky 15-8-7. He didn't really seem all that aggressive, and maybe I'll let you talk about that. Just kind of what you saw in that.
Yeah, when I was watching this, I think anybody who watches Bron and has watched LeBron his whole career knows there's just times when he's locked in and this guy's gonna have a good game. I was watching this game. I was like, he doesn't. On the first half, he's still playing well, but he doesn't have he's not playing like LeBron well.
He's not going Bron mode.
Exactly. And then I looked up at the box at the end of the half. I was like 15-8-7. I was like, wow, he's playing much better than I thought he is. And that's just the guy is unbelievable. Yeah. He's just. I'm not gonna sit here and LeBron stan, but the guy is.
I don't think anybody is at this point.
I'm a huge LeBron stan. I love LeBron, but I'm not gonna sit here and just talk about him all day. He does his things even when you don't even think he's doing things.
There will be no LeBron stans on this pod, but also 0 LeBron slander. There will be more LeBron standing than LeBron slandering on this pod. Sure. I guarantee you that. But another thing, just to touch on that point, was I think the Warriors were pretty content that LeBron wasn't scoring 51 again in this game, and I think it was I think it was pretty evident that he was seeing a hard double from Draymond off of some of the non-shooters and stuff like that, and so I think that definitely played a factor. But again, you see the 8 assists, he adjusts. You know what I mean? Exactly. 10 less points maybe than last game, but a couple more assists. So he's making the adjustments. There's nothing bad to talk about LeBron other than maybe his normal couple of game defensive breakdowns, which I think we're seeing 1 or 2 of them a game.
Yeah, no help.
Exactly. Where we talked about that exactly. So just a couple things on that front. So the Warriors at half had 18 assists on 25 field goals, and they actually out-rebounded the Cavs in the first half, 24-21. I guess that's a big thing for the Cavs. We knew that for the Warriors, is that they got beat on the glass, and they knew they were going to have to clean that up. Yeah. They're going to have to limit Tristan Thompson, keep Kevin Love out of there, and JaVale McGee did a great job of that as well. I don't think it necessarily led to rebounding stats, but he's blocking out a lot of the guys. He's making sure that Draymond can come and sweep in and then push in transition, and those little things that sometimes doesn't show up in the score is where all the impact practice.
Boxing out is huge, and he is very good at it.
Yeah, very, and his size, and he really uses his length to be able to go up and get those rebounds as well. Sure. Curry in the first half was 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and KD had 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting, and we mentioned that a lot of those were easy looks. But the big thing we took away in the first half, just to get there, is the Warriors' defense and offensive execution combined was the difference. They actually, like I mentioned, out-rebounded the Cavs and forced them into just tough offensive situations. They didn't seem comfortable getting into their sets all game. They did have that, LeBron at the elbow catching the ball with the corner splits actions, and that's always a staple for them. But other than that, it really wasn't anything clear that they were able to get good shots in transition realistically.
Yeah, I agree.
So going into the third quarter here, this is where the Cavs really started to make their push, in my opinion. So right out the gate, Love hit a couple catch-and-shoot three-pointers that went down. JaVale McGee actually got missed on both of those assignments.
I know.
I think you saw that too. Yeah, he missed both of those assignments. And then George Hill hits a three from LeBron, and then so that they went up 9. They closed the gap to 9 right away. And then the Warriors answer with a KD entry to McGee for a dunk, which ended up being an and one, but he missed the free throw.
Yeah.
And then LeBron comes down to answer with a 3. And it just seemed at this point that the Warriors needed a timeout because they weren't stopping the Cavs at this point. The Cavs were getting anything they wanted, and it was coming really easy. And I think a testament to that is they had 20 points in under 6 minutes to start the third.
Yeah, the third quarter, it was great seeing them come out. It was just, I thought, hey, maybe...
It felt like it was a game again. A lot of people said they didn't feel like the Cavs were getting back in this. This third quarter stretch, specifically in this timeout that I'm pointing out to here, 72-64, where I felt that, okay, this could be a game here. Exactly. This could be a game here. We're getting hot here.
But
if you're the Cavs.
Then you learn Golden State, and they're just that team.
Exactly.
They do not let you go on runs.
No,
they do not let you go on runs.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Kevin Love was knocking them down. 14 points in the third quarter. Could have been more. That was just when I counted up till 3 minutes to go. And the Golden State shots were definitely coming a little bit tougher than they were in the first half. So that's why I felt it was a game, because the Cavs are tightening up a little bit and can get consistent scoring. But it felt to me like every Cavs bucket was met with another Warrior bucket.
Exactly.
They couldn't get stop them. Like, the Cavs were scoring such consistency, and just as we saw in the second quarter, where that actually, the fact that the Cavs weren't scoring killed their defense, the Warriors weren't allowing that to kill their defense. Exactly. They were getting those buckets, getting those good looks, allowing their superstars to get them buckets, and that kept them in the game. Or not kept, I shouldn't say kept them in the game, kept that lead at a sustainable margin. And that's what I found a lot of there in the third quarter. Third quarter score was 34-31 Cleveland. So even again, after all that, the Cavs, they felt like they outplayed them.
Made up 3 points.
Exactly. Made up 3 points, and that was it. They were the Cavs were 12 of 20 in that quarter for 60% shooting and 5 of 9 from 3. And again, after 3 quarters, the score was 90-80 for Golden State, and at this point you're thinking, okay, there's got to be some kind of LeBron James run coming here if there's going to be any chance for the Cavs.
I thought at the end of that third quarter, I didn't think there was much there, because it just seemed like they couldn't get past that hump. Like, Golden State wouldn't let it happen.
Yeah,
and that is not to say, oh, the Cavs were bad, because the Cavs weren't great, but that is more of a testament to Golden State playing great defense and Golden State playing great offense. Golden State played great.
And just the experience and the pedigree at this point. This is their 4th finals.
LeBron's they just been there too, but the rest of the guys haven't.
Exactly, yeah. But they just know when those runs and those points matter. Like I think LeBron said this in a post game, like during the playoffs. He's like, I never really understood till this point in my career that sometimes 2 points doesn't equal 2 points. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the best way you can explain it, because sometimes 2 points are bigger than other sets of 2 points, and I think that came true in a lot of this, especially here in the second and third quarter. Okay, so going to the fourth, LeBron hits a 3 right out the bat to cut it to 7. And again, you're thinking, okay, here we go again. We're right there. And then Curry comes down the other end and absolutely puts the sauce on Larry Nance Jr. and hits a 3, puts it back up to 10. And then he comes back down, I think, after a Cavs miss. And then we talk about those relocation 3s, which he got another one off after Larry Nance. Again, he did that split-second side where he's like, okay, finally, Curry passed it off. I'm good. That split second, boom, relocates to the corner. And then he bites on the Curry pump fake, escape dribble, wide open 3, and then the lead is back up to 11 with 8:11 to go, and there's a timeout. So it was just so difficult for the Cavs to not only be able to score but also get the stops. It felt like they were doing one or the other, but not both, and that was really costing them in the end, especially with the lethargic first quarter that they had.
For sure, it was the first and the fourth killed.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. But you gotta tip your cap to Steph Curry.
No, yeah.
This man, like you said, like I agree with you. This guy is the Finals MVP. I think at this point, unless some miracle happens and there's more than 5 games.
Yeah,
I think it's got to be Steph Curry.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. Unless the Cavs somehow win, and let's face it, LeBron's been down 2-0 before. So, but different teams, different situations. But let's not count them out yet. I want to correct myself. So after the start of the fourth quarter, LeBron hit that 3 with 11, and then Curry sauced up Larry Nance for a 3, and then relocated for a 3 on the next possession, and then that put the Warriors up 13, 96-83, and then the Cavs called a timeout. Yes. So then you're up 3 at that point. So then after out of the timeout, I think a couple misses went by. And I think what happened was the Cavs tried to close it again. They were able to close it to 11, and then Steve Kerr took one of those, precautionary timeouts. Let's not get it further. Let's keep the 10, 11 point lead we have going here. And then
he uses it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then so out of the timeout at 189, Curry hits off what was pretty bad offense for Golden State, an absolutely ridiculous fadeaway 3, probably about 37 to 40 feet. Fading jumper over Kevin Love that swished through the net, didn't hit a rim. It was 103-89 at that point, and then that's the time where I felt, okay, I think that it's time to wrap it up here.
Yeah, that shot was, you could argue the dagger came earlier, but that shot to me was the dagger, and that was a dagger. What a shot. I think, but at that point, I think obviously as crazy as it was, if you're watching this whole game, when you put that shot up, I think everyone was thinking, "Oh, it's probably gonna go in."
Yeah,
and it went in.
Stupid. It's just ridiculous with Steph. You don't doubt his mechanics. Any shot that goes up, you think is going in. I totally agree with you there. And then after that, there was a couple again. Steph Curry had about 8 threes with 5:54 left for 30 points. Another relocating 3. Unbelievable. Got him another 3 and got the score up to 109-93. And then they emptied the bench, and then that's pretty much when me and Nick stopped watching. So
pretty well. So I stopped watching when Curry set the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty well.
Exactly, right. And then again, 9 threes from Stephen Curry, which was as many as the Cavs had from downtown. 9 of 27 for the Cavs from downtown. And again, the Cavs only 7 points off 12 Warrior turnovers. If the Warriors are going to give you mistakes like that, you're going to have to take advantage of those. That's the only way you're going to beat a team constructed as dominant as they are.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, they didn't capitalize. And I think we were talking about before, you said you have to get pretty well against Golden State. You got to get about a point of turnover.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And in order to stick with Golden State, that point of turnover is where you got to be at, and they weren't there.
Exactly. And just not falling asleep on some of those relocating 3s, even if you take away 2 of those, you know what I mean? Just these little mistakes make up so much of the game, and I just think that it's going to take a lot of mental toughness from the Cavs to be locked in possession by possession by possession, even after that Curry's going to make some demoralizing shots, that KD's going to make some demoralizing shots. It takes real mental toughness to be able to stick in there and stick to your game plan and stick to that mental focus possession by possession. I think that's a little bit of what the Cavs are lacking right now.
100%. Lacking that, and what they've been lacking all defense, or all season defense.
Yeah.
Defense has killed them. Post D is brutal, the perimeter D is brutal. They don't switch well. They don't help. They have very little rim protection.
They don't trust each other either.
They don't trust each other. It comes down to a lot of different things. Yeah. And they just have bad defenses here.
Yeah, when you have the bottom 5 defense in the league, it's just bound to translate when you're playing the best teams in the NBA.
Exactly.
There's nothing really much more to say than that. Just going over just some quickly stats again. KD 20. Oh yeah, and I pulled up the shot charts just before garbage time. The Warriors shot 59.5% in this game. Almost 60% shooting percentage in this game. 44 of 74 in this game.
That's what I mean.
How can you let the Warriors shoot 60% and expect to win basketball games?
But that's what I mean. It was bad defense from Cleveland, but it was great offense from Golden State too. Golden State came out, but Cleveland played bad. No doubt about it. But like we were just talking about, you knew the defense was going to come and kill them. Yeah. And when a team like Golden State's clicking, good night. Yeah. Just no chance.
Totally. And for the Cavs, 41% shooting, 32 of 78. So it was just so tough for the Cavs. Just again, felt like they just couldn't get it there. Other than just a couple points where I thought this might be a game, it really didn't feel like anything else. And then the Warriors were 15 of 35 from downtown. Again, you let Golden State get up 15 threes. That's a bad recipe for disaster. All right, so that'll wrap up for the game 2. Now, quickly, if you can just kind of off the top of your head, what kind of adjustments do you see them coming out with, if any, for the next game?
What I want them to come out with would be Rodney Hood. What I think they're going to come out with.
We'll be more specific. You want Rodney Hood off the bench as the first guy off the bench in the starting lineup? Like, what are you thinking exactly?
I'll leave that up to Tyronn Lue.
Okay, fair enough. You just want to see him
get some minutes.
Sure.
Like, get him... Dude, more than Jordan Clarkson's. I want to eliminate Jordan Clarkson's minutes.
100%. I don't think you should play...
Give those to Rodney Hood, and I'd say take a little from JR and give him a Rodney Hood.
Sure, I agree. I don't even think Clarkson should come out the tunnel.
No, just
exactly. Stay in the locker room. You know what I mean?
DMP, scratch.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
Put on a suit.
I will rather Chetty Osman in those minutes. He actually has some length and show some efforts on defense. My primary guy is Rodney Hood, though. I want to see more Rodney Hood in this game. I think he deserves some minutes. He deserves to show what he can do, especially against this team that needs offense to win. I mean, if you're going to allow Golden State to get 115, why aren't your best offensive players on the floor? Not Jordan Clarkson, who's not a great offensive player right now. So that I would agree. That's probably one thing, more Rodney Hood minutes. And I think maybe if you're Cleveland, maybe just thinking a little bit more about when it's opportune and not opportune to make some of those switching schemes that we saw like against the Rockets. You know, maybe if Jeff Green is on Kevin Durant, you know, maybe you want to keep him on Kevin Durant instead of having, you know, George Hill switch on him. So maybe less of those low resistant, you know, okay, I'm going to make this lazy switch. Maybe try to get over that screen a little bit more. Anything you can do at this point to really just make every offensive possession tougher for Cleveland, I think is just a good wild strategy.
Yeah, I think the Houston switching scheme, it works when you have absolutely fantastic offense like they do too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Cleveland's offense is at the level of Houston's.
Oh, no.
So... Exactly. So that's why defense translates to offense and offense translates to defense. It does. So
there's correlation for sure.
Exactly. And I think when you do not have a great offense, playing that kind of switch scheme is not going to be a good recipe for you.
No.
As in my opinion, you can't be lazy, and that type of switching. I'm not going to say it's lazy. I'm going to say it can lead to laziness at times. That type of switching, like just all lazy switches. I think sometimes you just, like you said, Jeff Green, Kevin Durant, you just got to kind of fight through and stick with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not by any means saying Jeff Green is lazy. I'm just saying with that scheme, like sometimes it leads to lazy switches.
Exactly.
And I think sometimes you just got to fight through that.
Exactly. And the reason the Rockets were so successful is because like you could argue that, like, I know it sounds crazy, but Chris Paul might have been the weakest link out there. And even him, you could switch on to Kevin Durant respectably, and he got a few buckets over Chris Paul. Don't get me wrong, but it was respectable to which you could survive with that scheme, giving up a couple of those buckets to CP3 and forcing help. But you put Kevin Love onto these switches, barbecue chicken, you know what I mean? Or even George Hill, we've seen, again, another one, barbecue chicken. So it's JR, barbecue chicken, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many weak links on defense in this Cavs. There's so many weak links in this Cavs defense that the Rockets switching scheme isn't necessarily made for them given their personnel.
Yeah, that's what I agree with.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, cool. So that'll pretty much wrap it up. For Golden State, so we should probably just touch on them. I mean, I guess they should just keep doing exactly what they're doing, making sure that Kevin Durant is, again, getting efficient shots. An efficient Kevin Durant usually leads to wins for Golden State. Yeah. I know, given all of the things. Draymond, we didn't even mention Draymond Green's name, but he was excellent on defense. He a lot of forcing, LeBron would kind of take a drive and, what's his name? Draymond would kind of reach in and force him to pick up the ball in inopportune times. Yeah, there was some great things there from Draymond Green. So just getting the consistent effort from the big four, and then if Andre Iguodala is back, that's only a plus for the Warriors. Getting that Hamptons 5 lineup back together.
Don't say that. I hate that nickname. Don't say that.
What do you want to call it then? What do you call it?
Just don't call them that. Okay, that is the dumbest thing.
Okay, the death lineup.
I prefer that. They're a West Coast team talking about the Hampton lineup.
Well,
this just don't make sense.
Well, do you know why they call it
I know
Hamptons?
it's why, because when they all met in recruitment, but it's I don't like it. It's just dumb.
Okay, fair enough.
It is just dumb.
I thought it was kind of funny. It kind of stuck with me. But okay, fine, death lineup.
Isn't it the 4 though?
No, well, with Iguodala, it's fine.
I guess it's fine.
Yeah, so if he gets back in any capacity, that's going to be a plus for the Warriors, because any less minutes you can play Nick Young or Kevon Looney is going to help you.
That's what I mean. Without Iggy in the lineup,
you have to play other guys. You have
to capitalize if you're Cleveland.
Exactly.
But
and they weren't able to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, for the Warriors, keep getting good shots, keep executing their offense. A lot of those open looks they got in the first quarter, they could take a lot of that from their tape, see what they can do to continue that sort of stuff. But other than that, I mean, it's looking like over in 5.
Yep.
It's looking like over in 5 to me. I'll give LeBron 1 in 2 games because I think he'll win one of those in these next 2.
But then it's over.
But I don't see anything else past that. Would you agree?
Yeah, completely. I think Golden State in 5 is the general consensus here.
Perfect. And so I just want to keep you a little longer, Nick, because you're in journalism. So naturally, I have to get your opinion on this whole Brian Colangelo Twitter account madness, which I guess seems to be wrapping up at this point. And I haven't really done any content on it, but just considering your background in journalism, I feel like you might be a little bit more qualified to maybe speak on how unprofessional or lack of professionalism, something like that, kind of speaks to. So go ahead.
That's just it. I think it just comes to that's just lack of professionalism. To me, I think it's the biggest.
Do you know that like one of them was his wife?
Yeah. But like,
or two of them.
That's dedication on her part.
Oh,
but
definitely.
That's like that is dedication. That's like Brian Angel. He found the right one for her. Like for him, like she's the one. But I don't know. I think it's just lack of professionalism. But I'm not gonna say it's being blown out of proportion because it's bad.
Yeah.
But like, I don't care that much. I don't know. With all this stuff going on in the world, I don't think this is like, I don't know. It's funny though.
True. Well,
how do you feel about it? I want to know how you feel about it. I personally, it's bad. I'm gonna say this. It's bad. It is bad. It's unprofessional. But to me, I'm not surprised at this point when I'm hearing burner accounts and all this stuff. Yeah, if players have it, why can't an owner have it?
Yeah.
It's insecurity, it's unprofessionalism.
Totally.
And come on, Colangelo, what are you doing?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But like at this bottom line, it's bad. But it's to this point, I'm just saying I'm taking it as entertainment at this point.
Okay, fair enough. And you know what? That's what I took it as originally. I was so intrigued. I was reading the Ringer story up. I think I was like 12 a.m. in the morning. I was reading it and I was looking at the account still balling, and I was legit like felt like I was sure Wob Hobbs, and shout out to Worldwide Wob on Twitter, but I felt like I was sure Wob mode. Like I was going deep, looking at tweets, looking at likes, trying to pin stuff together. Like it was unbelievable. And I think I saw the funniest tweet during that Twitter storm was, if people care about the Russian probe in the US half as much as what they care as this, they would have figured it out. They would have saved the government so much money, so many resources, and probably would have figured this out. Anyway, sorry, I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, no, I agree. It's completely lack of professionalism. I don't care if it's your wife. Like if you actually go into detail, and it's not just the tweets and the likes. There's another discuss account where there was even deeper into the Philly Twitter. Like you're going deep and deep, and you're really finding like that she's posing as like gay, like, and this woman's posing as a gay man, and like just all sorts of different personas, and like it really like kind of raises the question like why. Like what? No, that's all it comes down to. What are you gaining from that? Like, and I understand that there's this idea of social media where it's a public diary, and maybe there's like it's a good feeling to know to just kind of just type it away and just put it into the air and just kind of let loose with your feelings. And I get that, but
Twitter's a public space. But
do the wife of the players' basketball operations when you have probably one of the greatest like parts of Philly basketball history in the rebuild has been complete. You have generational talent, and you're continuing. The process
is not complete.
I guess the process
is not complete.
The process is not complete because you're going and talking about how you're going to get a medium-sized ladder to go slap up Joel Embiid because he's acting like a baby and having tantrums. Speaking of which, do we know the basketball credibility of Colangelo's wife and whether or not she actually knows it, or is she just watching because she's a fan? And I'm not doubting it whatsoever. But I mean,
I'm sure she has knowledge.
I'm sure she does too, and I don't want to discredit it, but I'm just saying.
I don't know how she could be a passionate, diehard basketball fan. Maybe they met something to do with basketball, and she knows basketball very well. I have no idea. She could know basketball better than Colangelo.
Yeah, it's
Colangelo
true.
doesn't know that. No, I'm kidding. Colangelo knows basketball, but she could very well know basketball better than Colangelo.
I agree. I agree. And the reason I'm skeptical as to why that is because if you knew basketball as well as you do, you would know that doing what you did is incredibly detrimental. I don't care.
That's not knowing basketball. That's just being a bad person. I'm gonna say not bad person.
I think that's just lack of awareness. It's just lack of awareness for where your husband is in his career and where he can, what he's doing with his team and what he has as an opportunity in front of him. And for you to bash some of the star players and thinking nobody will find out, I think is just negligent to me.
Well, I don't think it's just on her.
Well, I'm just going from the tweets from the accounts that were linked to her.
Yeah, but obviously some of the stuff she was saying, it's all bad, but like for the most part, but like. It's bad. It's unprofessional. It's bad for the basketball team. It's bad thinking you just won't get caught. But at the same time, like, it's just bad and unprofessional. But it's not. What's the huge deal?
Here, maybe
it's a big deal. It's just I don't know. I guess we've never really seen something like this from an ownership. From a
Yeah,
player, we've
I think
seen
that's
it.
what it is. I think that's what it is.
From a player, we've seen it.
Because players sometimes we excuse for having, brain farts and stuff like that. But when you're in ownership and when you're like part of like
The
a multi-billion dollar,
higher.
exactly.
It's
That's just
like,
thank you. I think that's what I was trying to get at the whole time. It's expectations are higher. You have to have a higher self-awareness and a higher understanding of that all of your actions, no matter how small, are magnified because of your position.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm not gonna say like players don't have that impact because LeBron James has more impact than anyone.
Of course,
obviously.
Of course.
But like I think his image does anyway.
Of course.
The impact he has on like young kids coming up playing basketball, and just the overall impact that like he has, Steph Curry has, like these guys do have major impact.
Totally. And I do want to take it back. Like, I don't really want to question her basketball knowledge. That's not really what I was getting at. My more is just her basketball acumen, if you will, and just kind of, because to do something like this, you really have to understand, like, if she knows, like, how big, like, what she's doing actually is, because this is insane to me. Like, maybe I'm overblowing it and you're underblowing it, or maybe we're somewhere in between. But to me, like, to be the wife of an executive who makes so much and would probably support most of your family given his big paycheck, and you basically costed him his job because you were just unaware and basically just negligent with your tweets and your inability to understand the big picture situation.
So you think Colangelo had no idea? Brian Colangelo had no
idea. Well, let's actually get into that, because the Ringer story says that when they brought up the Eric Jr. account and the Phil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those accounts stayed the same, but the Still Ballin' account, the Honest Abe, and there was another one. I can't remember the name, but all three of those went quiet. All three of those shut off as soon as the Ringer leaked the story. So for them to shut off after the Ringer leaked the story means two things. Either she got scared, because we've already determined that the Eric Jr. and the Still Ballin' account were hers. So the Still Ballin' account was one of the ones that went quiet. So let's focus on that one for now. So after the Ringer story came out, that one went quiet. So why did that one go quiet after everything went public? A, Colangelo told her, I know about your account, shut this shit off, because I can't have none of this. Or she read the Ringer story and she got absolutely petrified and just shut it down to try and save her butt.
I know. What I'm asking you is, you think this whole time Colangelo had no idea
about
any of these burner accounts?
It's tough. It's really tough to know, because I think that situation that I just described, I think that situation that I just described to you will tell us whether he knew or not. Because if she shut that account without just being scared and let nobody else know, there's a scenario where maybe Colangelo had no idea about that account. Maybe he didn't, or maybe he did. Maybe he did. But
we don't know. But
we don't know.
I don't know. I'm gonna say he knew.
I mean, I guess you have to lean towards that given the evidence. I can't really blame you for that. I guess I would have to be the same. Just given the circumstantial evidence, I'll have to lean toward, yeah, he probably knew.
So I don't know. Then I don't blame her completely.
Well, but he knew, yeah. But she was, yeah. I see what you're saying. That if he knew, then what she. But I don't think that just because his knowledge of it makes it okay for her to go and do the same thing. I think you have to have your own idea as a wife and saying, okay, just because he thinks it's okay, maybe I still shouldn't be, talking all this ish about the star players. And I know maybe if you're giving them permission of your GM husband to do whatever you want, maybe it's okay, but I still think that there's a lack of negligence from her part there. Maybe that's
I think it's definitely
or
just
negligent from her part.
I just think I'm gonna say it's both of them, but I guess there's no evidence. It's tough for me to comment on it because there's not a lot of concrete. We know some things.
Yes.
There's some things we know, but
so
I'm gonna say of what we know, it's complete unprofessional negligence. Yeah. But we don't know absolutely everything. But we still, regardless, I'm gonna say it's unprofessional and everything. I'm just gonna say we have no idea. I'm not gonna say it's a lot of people involved. We don't know if Colangelo himself was majorly involved with these accounts. We don't know if it was just his wife. We have no idea. So I'm not gonna point fingers directly at this.
True, and the Ringer story didn't do that either.
It was good.
Yeah, exactly.
So good story. I'm not gonna not knocking the story. It was just, I don't know. It just, with all the things going on in the world, it's just one of those things that just I was like, wow, that's ridiculous, but not that surprising.
I hear you. And just from a basketball perspective, let's just wrap it up here. So the last thing I want to know about this situation is, who was the person that leaked the story to the Ringer?
I know.
There's account that's no, but this is, I did some research on this. This is where I went Sherwob Sherlock Holmes mode.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's an account called Enough Sixers, Sixers Enough, something along those lines. This account follows Ben Dietrich, the Ringer story writer, and as one other guy who is like, I think, the president of Ringer content or something like that. He has 3 likes. All 3 of those likes are Hinkie supported tweets. So I'm not saying it's Hinkie. But I'm just saying whoever leaked that story to the Ringer was a Hinkie supporter. And Hinkie supporters and Colangelo supporters usually are on 2 ends of the Venn diagram.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
That's all I'll have to say.
This is gonna be an all-out war.
This is going to be a war. This is going to be a war. So I thought I should point that out because I thought that was super funny. And again, not saying it's Hinkie or anything, but that would be very funny if Hinkie or maybe what if it was Hinkie's wife? What if it's Hinkie's wife that leaked the story from Colangelo's wife? I would be dead, and the actual basketball operations people had nothing to do with it whatsoever. It was all just female Twitter drama this whole time, and we all got riled up over nothing. I think that would be the perfect end of the story, personally. That would just be hilarious.
I just know this story is the weirdest. It's so weird because I think we've never seen it in an owner before.
Exactly.
Today's thing. Social
Especially
media.
with 5 accounts. Some guys have 1 or 2. 5?
Yeah. No,
5?
I know.
That's crazy.
5 accounts.
Yeah.
For sure.
Totally.
Yeah. I don't have a burner account.
No,
but
me either.
I don't think I'll ever have a burner account.
Especially not now.
No.
Especially with this AI technology that this guy's claiming he used. I don't think it was AI at all. I think he knew exactly what Colangelo was doing and he leaked it. Which is why I think it might be a Hinkie supporter or someone close to him. Yeah. Anyway, wrapping up. Thank you for joining us. Game 2 breakdown and a little bit of touching on the funny Colangelo situation. Once again, we will be back for a Game 3 breakdown. Hopefully the weather in my area is just a tad bit better, so I'll be able to do the live stream, but nonetheless.